Hey everyone, I'm Dan. That's Harry from Fishing with Harry. Thank you for joining us. I wanted to take a little bit of your time today and talk about kayak weight ratings and how they're kind of calculated and what they really mean. More so the actual safety rating versus the performance rating. The safety rating is what you're going to see on most websites when they're talking about weight rating. So when they talk about capacity, they're talking about the safety rating. The safety rating, for instance, on the Lightning Strike is 415. On the Hobie Outback I think it's 450. So that is the weight that the kayak will hold before safety may, keyword there is may, become an issue. They usually lower the safety rating a good percentage because they don't want to get sued. So for instance, if you take on the Lightning Strike, if you put 415 pounds on there, the kayak may not sink, it may not flip, it may not do anything. However, if you put 475, it's definitely going to sink. So they've kind of fudged it. They look at the averages over a bunch of kayaks and say this is what it is, and that's the capacity rating or the safety rating. Where people get confused is off of when we're talking about capacity versus performance. So performance rating is, you take the good rule of thumb is take capacity minus 25%, and that's what you and all your equipment, including the seat, pedal drive, whatever else you want to put in there other than the kayak hull itself, anything else you put in there should weigh under that. When you hit your performance rating, the kayak performance starts to drop, and there's many different things that that it may affect. So I actually drew a little diagram here. It's a horrible little diagram, so please do not make fun of my drawing skills. So for instance, let's take that on this kayak, this line here, this dotted line, this is the bottom of the deck inside the sit on top kayak, right? So that's the dotted line. So when water gets to that dotted line, it comes through the sculper hose and you get water on your deck. That's what happens. So some kayaks have this down here, others have it up here. So this solid line, we're going to call this our tip line. This is where the center of balance of the kayak is. When this line here goes underwater, the kayak is apt to tip or sink. So this is the center of balance. And then you have your failure line, which is the gun walls, the top of the gun walls, where it's actually underwater. So if you were to lean your kayak and get it to this point here, and on each kayak it's different, you'll have to figure out what your tip line is on your particular brand. So when this part goes into the water, it's going to tip. Now, with you sitting on top of the kayak in a higher position or lower position depending on your seat, or if you have a deck seat, this tip line goes up or down. So it changes according to the weight up here. The deck will always stay the same on your particular kayak. It may be higher, it may be lower. So what happens? Let's say this kayak here is rated for 400 pounds. So that means at 400 pounds, the capacity, this kayak will sink. Or may sink, I guess I should say. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that 400 pounds, we're going to take 25% away, so that brings it down to 300 pounds. So at 300 pounds, we put 300 pounds weight in here, and I'm a big guy, so I have to really be careful in some kayaks. So at 300 pounds, my water line is going up, 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 up. Now, on some brands of kayak, when you get close to that capacity, the water is up here and will come over the deck. It's not going to hurt you. It's just water. However, it may indicate a performance issue. And by performance, I mean the kayak might be a little more tippy, not as stable. It may be slower. It may be harder to paddle, harder to thing. Doesn't mean it's going to fail. It just means performance is an issue. So when you start getting above that weight, the water line continues to go up. Once it gets up to that tip line, you're in trouble. Okay? So that's how you kind of configure the ratings. There's been a couple other people that have done it with weight and shown it and talked about it, but the way you get your performance rating, a good rule of thumb is take take the kayak weight minus 25%, and that's the weight you and your gear should be in order to not affect performance. It's not a safety issue, it's a performance issue. And it means your deck may get wet. So unfortunately for us bigger guys, we really, and I am one of you, trust me, we need to watch this and see where it is. We need to get some of the higher rated kayaks. The higher rated kayaks usually cost a little bit more money, so that's just kind of the, the world we live in. So again, one more time, the rating you see on websites for Hobie, for anybody except for the flat deck kayaks, is their safety rating, their capacity, meaning before it may be an issue and may sink. That's what that rating is. The rate, and then you take that minus 25%, and that's your performance rating before you're going to have performance issues. That's what those ratings mean. So I really wish kayak companies would put their safety rating, their capacity, and then a performance rating also, weight rating also. And it's, I really wish they would do that. It would make it so much easier for a lot of us that run different kayak owners groups, because we're constantly have to explain this to people, because people just, it doesn't make sense to a lot of people. Well, they say it's a 350 pound kayak or 350 pound capacity. Well, that's capacity, it's safety, it's not performance. So thank you very much for listening to me. Hope to see you guys out on the water. From Dan and Harry, that's him back there, the lazy little dog. Thank you, and you have a wonderful day.